Another really interesting combination of HPTI personality traits that's really relevant at work is the relationship between adjustment and ambiguity acceptance. So where adjustment levels are kind of about your stress levels, stress tolerance, and threshold, ambiguity is about that kind of complexity, mixed information. So it's always really useful to look at how comfortable people are with ambiguous, complex, difficult circumstances. So that can be anything like getting mixed messages from people, having a lot of different roles and responsibilities, sometimes that conflict, and looking at that ambiguity, but then the stress that can go alongside of it. So some people have all of this kind of complexity and ambiguity in their work, but have very high adjustment levels, so can manage that ambiguity without getting too stressed about it. But if you see people who have very low ambiguity acceptance and also very low adjustment, that's something to look at, because the people who get mixed messages from colleagues or their boss at work, or have a lot of conflicting roles, are probably going to get very stressed about it and have trouble managing it. So that's not necessarily a problem, but it's something to be aware of. So I've worked with people like that before who have that combination of low ambiguity acceptance and moderate adjustment, and they get really stressed and sometimes overwhelmed if they don't have clarity, if they don't know what success criteria look like in their job, if they don't have a kind of a specific course of action that they know they need to do, if they don't have a clear performance management framework, then they really struggle and get really stressed with it, and sometimes it's a bit overwhelming. So it's good, especially as a manager, to understand these levels of adjustment and ambiguity acceptance in your team, to know who needs clarity to do their job well and who is going to really negatively be impacted if they don't have that clarity or specificity, and to know who's going to do fine if they get mixed messages, or if they have a whole bunch of different roles, is going to enjoy it and is going to enjoy some of the complexity and being able to kind of cope with that and thrive in that situation. So that's why the adjustment level in combination is really important, because you can see how resilient they're going to be to that stress of getting kind of mixed messages or really complicated, confusing sometimes tasks, and being able to work through it, or is it going to be too much of a barrier to being successful? So it's really important with senior leaders, because they need high levels of both ambiguity acceptance and adjustment. They need to be able to manage that stress, manage that complexity, and manage all of the complications that can come in their team. So looking at those two combinations, sometimes just in their own, is a really useful way to go about it.